Hey YouTube, in today's deck profile I'm going to be doing another Genesis deck profile. So I decided I'll go ahead and do my Valkerion deck. Because this is the one that actually got me back into Vanguard. I've been out of the game for a while. I did have Silver Thorns when they came out. I did not have Revengers at that time. I had Phantom Blaster Dragon, and that was like the only... Those and my old Amaterasu with Victorious Deer was like the only 3 decks that I had for standard play. And then premium, I was trying premium, but premium was just like, I don't have any of the newer cards, so it's like, whatever. Can't really play premium with the old triggers, except for the ones with the effects, but then the power gains are like horrible. So anyway, so this deck is really nice. I like this deck because it's a quest. It has an objective. It has like an objective, and the objective is to bring out the Astral Plane, bring out Valkerion on the Astral Plane, or open the Astral Plane. And I feel like this deck is unique in the sense that it's very different from all the other clans. Now, every deck has like a winning image, so to speak, but this one just takes it up to the next level. And I feel like the way that the deck is designed, even though you run 4 grade 5s in the deck, ride consistency doesn't suffer that much. It doesn't suffer any worse than like a clan like Grom Blue has like 12 grade 1s or some weird lineup right with the lower grades, where there is that off chance where you will open up with no grade 1 in your opening hand. You have to G-assist for it, but it's not absolutely horrible. It doesn't happen enough times where it hurts the playability compared to a clan like, say, Gear Chronicle, for instance. So, and it's mainly because of the rear guards. It's because of the rear guard effects, and we'll talk about that as we go through the deck. So, to start off, you got to run 4 Valkerion. The trial deck gives you 4, so it gives you your playset. One of them is the Hollow. I didn't bother like updating that. I just was like, whatever, I'm just gonna play budget. So 4 Valkerion. This deck is very nice. It's very cheap, very easy to build. The most expensive card in the deck, which is not the trial deck card, is Astral's Dragon, and you gotta run 4 of him in my opinion. You could get away with running 3 because you can run 4 of the other grade 3, which is the Gleaming Lord Uranus, because he comes from the trial deck in a play set, but I opted for the 4 dragon and 3 of him. So some people will say run 4 of both. I don't agree. I say run 4 of the dragon and 3 of him. The reason why I think the dragon's better is because if you don't have another grade 3, as long as you ride him, you can generate a gift with his main phase skill every subsequent turn. So the turn 3 you ride him, he automatically gives you the force marker. Then you activate his skill, you get another force marker, so you're already at 2, and then you just need your rear guards to give you the other 3. So if you can't get 3, so sometimes what you'll end up happening is you only go up to 3 on the first, on your turn 3 ride, then you need like the other 2 on a subsequent turn. So on the next turn, on the 4th turn, he will automatically generate a 4th one, and then anything else you draw into this guy and call him as a rear guard or whatever will give you the 5th one, then you'll get your Valkerion out. So it is a turn 4 deck by definition, based off of the consistency of it. We try to get Valkerion out as fast as possible. That is the objective. If you can get him out on turn 3, your chances of winning are very, very good. So we run 3 of Uranus, mainly because we need ride consistency of the lower grades, because we're running 4 grade 5s. So I opted to run 7 because 7 is very popular in like Japanese meta, for instance. It has always been back all the way back to like Spectral Duke Dragon era, like real old school Limit Break era Vanguard. A lot of Japanese players would run like 7 grade 3, and you'd see a lot of that in like Singapore and all that kind of stuff, like way back. I'm talking way back. But so that's why I feel like 7 grade 3s isn't really bad. You don't really need the 8th grade 3 in this deck. It doesn't not really hurt the consistency that much, and the deck moves pretty quick. There's a lot of searchers, and we'll show them here shortly. So one of them, he doesn't really search, but he helps you look at the top 2 cards, is Prometheus of Dancing Lights. He's from the trial to get a playset of him. Very easy to throw 4 of him in and make the deck work. Vanguard or Rearguard, when placed, look at 2 cards from the top of the deck, put one from them into the soul, and put the other one on top of the deck. So he searches your grade 3 or 4, or 5, essentially. Like, if you don't have a 3, and let's say you use him, you look at 2, let's say he's one of them, or the other guy's one of them, you're going to put, he'll go on the top, and the other card's going to go in the soul. So yeah, so that's one of the reasons that we don't need the 8th grade 3. Another reason is we run 3. I used to run 4 of this, but I have changed it recently. 3 Phosphorus of Auspicious Light. Now, he is a good turn 2 ride target because when he attacks as a Vanguard, you Soul Blast 1, reveal 3 cards from the top of the deck, put 1 grade 3 or greater into the hand, and put the rest in the soul. So very good turn 2 ride. You can run 4 of him. I was running 4 of him for the longest time. Oops, sorry, until I recently got my hands on this card, because she was very hard to find. This is the last card that I added to the deck only recently. If you want to know my original lineup, I still actually have the cards out here. I was running 4 Prometheus, and I was running 2 Stratagems. The bad thing about Stratagems is you can't get Valkerion out on turn 3 with his effect. He can only allow you to get it on turn 4 or above. So that's why I opted to take him out. Although he does give you 10k to a unit when at the end of the battle he attacks. So that is pretty nice. But he is kind of slow, so I took him out. And then Spacious Light is good. But if you want to generate a force marker, he doesn't do that. So she does. And we are only running 10 grade 2s in the deck because Valkerion is taking up 1 of the grade 2 spots, 1 of the grade 3 spots, and 2 of the grade 1 spots. So that you would normally run in a Genesis deck. So I couldn't run either one of these at 4 because she only works as a Vanguard to give you that force marker. So very good turn 2 ride because you get the force marker. But it only works as a Vanguard effect, which means if you don't ride her, you ride one of these 2, their effects will go off, and then this becomes a vanilla card for the rest of the game. It doesn't do anything. So that's why I only run 3 of it. You could run 4 of it if you want, but I would prefer to fix ride consistency with this guy. I like this guy as a Vanguard for the ride consistency. This is good for the force marker though. So it works either way. If you want max ride consistency, I would probably run only 2 of her and run 4 Auspicious. If you want to try to go into Valkerion as fast as you can, which arguably is an objective of the deck, you could maybe cut 1 Dancing Light and run 4 of her. You know, there's just multiple different ways you can run the lineup, but this is what I've found works best because this guy is never dead, which is why I really like him. Like, you can use him as a Vanguard, so he's not dead turn 2 as your only grade 2 target in your opening hand, so he works that way. And he works throughout the mid and late game, whereas this is only good on turn 2 and it's useless in mid and late game. And this is also arguably best on turn 2, but it still does have its Vanguard Rearguard effect where when it's boosted it gets 5k power, so it has that going for it over this. So it's very hard to determine what's the optimal grade 2 lineup in this deck. Post in the comments if you let me know what you guys are running. I might try it out. But I found that this works really well. For grade 1s, we're running 4 Atlas of Heavenly Sphere. Again, he's another trial deck card, so you get a whole playset of him. And he's your optimal turn 1 ride, because when he's placed on Vanguard Circle, you can Soul Charge 1. And you do use a lot of Soul in this deck, surprisingly. And then he does have a Rearguard effect where you can counterblast 1, put him into the Soul, draw a card, so he replaces himself. And if your Vanguard is an Astral Poet, he gets a gift. So he helps you get the gift during a main phase, which is why we run max copies of him, because you want to get the gifts out. Next, we're running 4 Deputized Bear. Very, very important because he searches Valkerion. When he's placed on Rearguard Circle, look at 7 cards from the top of the deck, reveal 1 Valkerion, and put it in your hand. Now, in the early part of the match, you're looking for your grade 3, unless you already have it. Then you're going to focus on getting Valkerion, and he just helps you get Valkerion either early or in the later parts of the game. So, very, very good card for searching Valkerion. It's just essential for the consistency. And then the final grade 1 I'm running is Astral of the Full Heavens. And this card is probably my favorite of the grade 1s because it reminds me a lot of Melum in Gear Chronicle. I feel like this card is probably going to become one of the most OP cards, or one of the most, you know, there's so much utility behind this card that I really like it a lot. So when you place it as a Vanguard, you draw a card and you put a card from your hand on the bottom of the deck. So it cycles triggers and stuff to the bottom of the deck, so you can get them later. And then if it's on the V, you soul charge 2. So it helps you soul charge, because its rearguard effect at the end of the battle that it boosted, you soul blast 2 and return this unit to your hand. Now, granted, you also get to draw a card and cycle something to the bottom when you place it as a rearguard also. So it has a lot of utility. It just feels like it's one of those cards that you really need to have minimum, I would say 3, if not 4. So because the deck is really like a 12 grade 1, 10 grade 2, 7 grade 3 deck, the rock consistency doesn't suffer too much compared to Gear Chronicle. And it just works out pretty well for a deck that runs high grades, grade 5s, or, you know, something above grade 3. So for the trigger lineup, very straightforward. It's 4 Kushinada, so PG draws, and then 8 criticals, because you need the perfect guards, and the draws help you draw into your key pieces throughout the match. And then the starter is Pan of New Style. So that is probably my favorite Genesis deck I've built in a long time. It's very unique, and I feel like because the anime is all about Shin and showcasing this deck as the main character's deck, you can expect this deck to get better throughout the year. I feel like this is the deck that Genesis might actually shine, so the price on these cards, with the exception of him, is not too bad actually. It's very easy to build the deck. The only hard cards to find are well, actually she's not even really that hard to find in my area. The hardest card for me to find was actually this, which you don't actually need. I think this card is overhyped. People say it's so good, it's so good. Yeah, no, I don't really know, because I feel like, yeah, it's good, but I was running the deck with these guys before, until I got that recently, and the deck was functioning just fine. It was just, I don't know. This is just helps you get that 5th Astral Plane, which is that 5th force marker, which is really, really important. I'm not gonna disagree with that, but I feel like it's overhyped because it just ends up being dead, like, if you don't ride it on turn 2, and I just don't like having a dead vanilla card that doesn't do anything. So anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed that deck profile. Let me know what you think of the Astral Plane build, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks.